Hello, everybody. My name is Ken Clark. I'm the editor of Hardware and Building Supply Dealer magazine, and this is our one-on-one video series in which we interview interesting people in the hardware and home improvement industry. And with us today is Levi Smith. He's the president of Franklin Building Supply in Boise, Idaho. Welcome to the show, Levi. Great to have you. When we visited Franklin Building Supply a few years ago, we were very impressed by the company culture and the company's emphasis on the employees first. And we just felt that it was a really progressive, forward-thinking company. Tell the audience something about Franklin Building Supply.
So Franklin Building Supply started in 1976 in Boise. Since then, we've grown to cover most of the southern I-84 corridor in Idaho. We have one location in Nevada. So we have 10 lumber yards, and then we have some wholesale operations, truss plants, door finish shops, and a few other sort of ancillary facilities. We have more than 750 employees, and we're 100% employee owned. So since late 2015, we made that transition. So 100% employee owned company. And I've been with Franklin in this capacity since January 2016. So we've got a great team, good market that we're fortunate to operate in, good customer base, and are the largest regional, privately held regional lumber yard in our area. So.
And one of the really interesting things that you're doing, and I believe, Levi, you're spearheading this project, is your vision for a home construction-related startup ecosystem in Idaho. Maybe I should repeat that. A home construction-related startup ecosystem in Idaho, much like maybe the fashion industry has the headquarters in New York City, or obviously technology is known for Silicon Valley. You kind of have this idea to bring the startups for the construction industry to Boise. Where did this idea come from?
Well, I mean, like you said, fashion and some other areas are already taken, so you've got to figure out where you can fit in. So this is really for me kind of an intersection of both personal and professional interests. So I'm originally from Central Texas area and got to be on the sidelines watching the startup ecosystem in Austin really mature and become quite vibrant in its own right, and really the source of so much growth and prosperity in the Central Texas area. And so coming here, I was always interested in that space, did some stuff in it during my career there in the Austin area. But coming here, what I saw as an opportunity to help strengthen the startup ecosystem that's already present in Boise and Idaho. So a lot of people have done a tremendous amount of work to get the ecosystem where it is today. When I say ecosystem, recognize these might be some terms that aren't thrown about in our industry on a day-to-day basis. What I mean is, you need the right ingredients for the recipe to actually have something turn out good and worth eating. And an ecosystem is not that different. So you need some capital. You need entrepreneurs, you need the support and involvement usually from the educational sector. You need the businesses involved that are maybe going to be the first business that a startup works with, or be the place that a person works at and comes up with an idea and leaves and develops a new solution and bursts a new business. So you need all these pieces involved, all these ingredients to end up in the pan or the pot to make what you intend. And so those pieces have been coming together in Boise and Idaho, but again, kind of, mashing up my personal and professional interests here. I've always been passionate about startups and entrepreneurs, but when I look at our industry, really nobody in the U.S. has laid claim to being the place where construction-related startups and specifically home construction-related startups call home. And you need a concentration of talent, resources, capital, all those things to really create the momentum to make it work. And so I think there's an opportunity here to do that. So rather than talking about it, I decided to try to do something about it.
You are to be commended for that. Now, what makes a case for Boise to lay the claim for this center of the
Does the case have to be made for Boise, Ken? It's self-evident. Boise, as I think most people know, is a fast-growing city and just Idaho in general area of the country, especially over the last 15 years or so. Boise and Idaho really have a deep connection to our industry. It's certainly a land that's been rich in timber, and that's been a resource that's been used for home construction, obviously, and other types as well. But there's really a rich history when you think about from Boise Cascade to a product like truss joists being invented here. It's got deep connections to the industry. There are a number of companies that, again, started here or still call Boise or Idaho home. And so we thought with that tradition and then with what's emerged in terms of the startup ecosystem at large and in Boise and Idaho, it'd be a good time to kind of start bringing those together and say, why shouldn't this be the place where you have the concentration of entrepreneurs, capital, educational support, business support to make startups in this space viable?
And there is some self-interest, isn't there? What's good
absolutely.
for
I think I
Boise
disclosed that up front, some personal and professional interest.
All right, good. Just make sure that's on the record.
No, absolutely. Well, quite selfishly, I want our industry to do well. We do well when the economy does well. And so anything we can do to help the economy is helpful to our business. And then anything we can do to expose our industry and our business to a broader talent pool. So people in the community that one of the fun things that has been a result of what we've done over the last 18 months or so is that both people in universities and the general community it's been a real head scratcher for them that a lumber and building material dealer is kind of at the center of this, and that we're talking about this industry, and they didn't even really. It's not something they think about. It's not. It's not something that's on the top of their mind. And so this has been good exposure for our business and for the industry as well, and the other industry participants that chose to take a leap of faith and kind of join us in this.
Excellent. We at HBS Dealer also would like to see improvement and growth in the home improvement.
It helps us all.
Rising tide lifts all boats.
Yes.
Talk about some of the big brands that have kind of come on board to this little project. Or big.
Yeah. So when I started really talking with people who again have done tremendous work in investing in the startup ecosystem, not just related to home construction, just broadly in Boise and Idaho. What emerged out of those conversations that I started having, that'd be end of the year, kind of 2019. I feel like we've been in a time warp with all the COVID stuff, right? So I have to think, is this pre or post pandemic? So the end of 2019, started talking with them, and what emerged out of those conversations was there's an opportunity to do something unique with what's called a reverse pitch, which is when businesses bring their problems to the table to entrepreneurs, to inventors, and say, can you solve this? Can you help improve this? Instead of an entrepreneur having to work in an industry for 5, 6, 7 years to observe the problem, think about solutions, the business can bring sort of the answer to the table. And that's a reverse pitch. And that reverse pitch model hadn't been done in Boise and Idaho before. So there's an opportunity to do a reverse pitch model and to have industry participants come to the table and be the ones that contribute all of those, what we call problem statements in reverse pitch. So I worked with a group of people to kind of steward this idea, got some really early fantastic support and collaboration from the Boise Venture College, and then approached some industry partners. So Weyerhaeuser, Truss Joist, Midwest Flooring, Boise Cascade, a number of folks just kind of a blind leap said, well, if you're going to be involved in this and you tell us it'll be worthwhile, we'll give it a go. And so they said yes, weren't entirely sure what they're getting themselves into, but we worked on what are the problems we're having in our business, in our industry, and what can we put in front of. The first version of this was just focused exclusively on students. What can we put in front of students and say, if this problem could be solved, if this could be improved, it's something that we as businesses or us representing our industry would find value in and would pay for. So a lot of entrepreneurs spend a lot of time trying to figure out what a business might be willing to pay for. When you come to the table and say, we're telling you what we'd be willing to pay for, this would have a big enough impact that this would help us, then you can kind of jumpstart the process. So I'm certainly indebted to Boise Venture College and all those industry participants for participating in round one of this. We did it in the fall of last year. It was a huge success by every measure that we had. Maybe our measures were too small, but we found that it had the impact that we're looking for. And we're looking at having round two this October with double the number of industry participants. It's open now for not just students, but the general public. And we've got over $35,000 in awards that are going to be handed out as a result of a pitch competition where entrepreneurs pitch their solution to the problems. So it's fun to be tackling real problems and to be talking about a real opportunity for entrepreneurs, whether they're just general public or students.
Some of those problems I have on my screen here in front of me: job site theft, training new hires, better training and accountability to installers. These are problems that were submitted by the industry.
Correct.
These are problems looking for solutions, so to speak.
Yeah, and some of these are broad,
right.
But some of these are very narrow. Like I'm looking at the list here with you, like tracking the last contractor to leave a property. Why would someone? That's a really good example of a reverse pitch problem statement. You might have to be in our business or in our industry for a while to realize that is a huge problem. So you've got some part to play in the sequence of events that are going to happen on a job construction site. But if you don't know that the tile guys are done, you may not be able to take your next step. And if you lose a couple of days, it's costly for the builder and costly for you as a building material dealer or installer. So you want to know, who's the last person that left the piece of property. So that's a unique problem to our industry. And that's one that wasn't submitted by us, that was submitted by somebody else. Again, these other industry participants who are fleshing out that problem for the entrepreneurs and saying, can you develop a solution? And so what we do with this event we call Hacking for Home Building is entrepreneurs raise their hand and say, I want to participate in this contest. So they take on one of these problems. There will be support from industry partners like Franklin Building Supply and others that I've listed who actually help those entrepreneurs work through some solutions and make sure they really understand the problem. And then there's a pitch competition where a panel of judges looks at listens to the pitches and judges the quality and caliber and viability of the solutions. And then we get to Boise Entrepreneurship Week and we award hard dollars for the folks that make it to the top three. So again, getting folks exposed to our industry, exposed to our business, solving real problems. And we're wanting, again, Boise and Idaho to be the place that there's a concentration of all the right pieces or ingredients where folks say, if you want to succeed with a construction related startup, you need to do it in Boise because that's where there's a concentration of support from, again, the educational sector, business sector, which is huge, capital, and then there's also the right sort of mix of entrepreneurs or folks wanting to tackle these problems.
Excellent. Well, in the last few moments here of our one-on-one with Levi Smith of Franklin Building Supply, can you tell the audience if they wanted to get involved in some way, who would they reach out to? What website can they go to?
Sure. So there's a site called Hacking for Home Building. And the easiest way, like navigating a lot of the web these days, is just typing that into Google, then giving you a long URL. But if you type in Hacking for Home Building, it'll take you to one place and it'll take you to the right place. There aren't other events going by that same name. And it's a site put up by Boise Venture College, gives you all the details. This is open to anybody. They can raise their hand and say, I want to participate. Registrations are due by the 27th of September. And then there's basically a 3 or 4 week kind of sprint that the entrepreneurs go through with support from industry partners and the educational institutions and everyone else that's involved this year. And it culminates in a pitch competition with Boise's Entrepreneurship Week.
Excellent. And you can also read about it in hbsdealer.com.
There you go.
Levi, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I hope to see you soon on the trade show circuit and give my regards to all the team there at Franklin Building Supply.
I will. Ken, I appreciate the time and the opportunity just to share what we're doing and something that I hope is helpful not just for us here, but for the industry at large as we try to bring in more and more people into our industry and business.
Thanks again. And thanks everybody for watching our one-on-one video series. Take care.